You're gonna love this episode with Daniel Scranton because we talk about ET disclosure, timelines, dragons, Earth resets, parallel universe, and pizza. And because disclosure is such a hot topic, I decided if you wait to the very end, I'm gonna actually post some live um, video of ET ships that I've taken with my phone or friends have sent me just to show you that they're really out there like never before. And if you just look up, I guarantee you'll see ET spaceships. Lots of fun. I know who I want you to bring in.
All
Um,
right.
I I want you to bring in the creators because my questions
Mm,
are very multi-dimensional and very
mm.
out there. What? Yeah, I'll get into it when you bring them in, but I think it's gonna be fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Okay, great.
Okay, do you want to hit record?
It's already recording.
Oh, excellent. Okay, okay. You want to bring them in?
Yeah, here I go.
All right.
Is.
Excellent.
Hello. Yay.
Hello. Thank you for being here.
Indeed, it is a wonderful opportunity to connect with another soul like yourself.
Excellent, excellent. Well, first I'd like to ask, do you guys want to give a opening message to me? I think you guys kind of already sense the vibration of what the questions I'm going to ask, but if there's anything you guys would like to start off with.
Yes, this is a journey that you are on that is taking you beyond where most human beings are at this point in life on Earth. And that means you're going to be outpacing a lot of people and having a harder and harder time relating to your fellow humans, which means at times you do have to bring yourself back down to earth and focus on being very grounded in what's happening in the now moment, what you're experiencing with another person, which of course you can talk about and have a shared experience about what's going on right in front of you in that very moment. And that's sort of the best way for you to continue to ride the crest of the wave of the leading edge and also be able to relate to those who are very much focused on what's in the here and now, what's present in their lives, what their day to day experiences and struggles are. So you have a unique ability and an opportunity to take what you know to be true and to bring it down to earth for others who are not having such lofty desires and experiences with other dimensional beings and extraterrestrial beings yet in their experience while you are. And so you have to build a bridge between yourself and the rest of humanity so you can continue to not only relate to other people, but also be in the best possible position to assist others.
Excellent. I mean, what I got from that is that that is really a message for me to stay in the eternal now. And now I am on Earth. So soak up that
Yes.
experience and relate to people. In fact, I got you. I got you. I 100% with
Woo.
you. With that, I am actually going to go into three categories of questions. The first category is questions for Earthlings, for people on Earth, like myself. And then the second wave of questions is going to be galactic, about various galactic species and galactic rules and laws. And then that was the second set. This third set is going to be more into what most humans don't even really think about, which is primordial harmonic sound weaving of um, original consciousness of this universe. I want to get into some of that mechanism as much as my human brain can absorb. But those are kind
Yes.
of like the three loose buckets, and of course they're all going to intersect. But
Yes.
we're just going to do this and have a lot of fun. So we're going to
All
start with
right.
the first question, which is what Earthlings want to know. So right now we're really into disclosure and open contact, and there's a lot of information here about that. It's frankly, it's been information that's been out for decades and years, so there's really not that much new, except that now that we're in the time frame of it, the probabilities of it are coming solidifying. So
Yes.
I would say like like I was going to say that open disclosure, open contact was going to happen 2027 to 2032, but now it's coming down into a more definite timeline. And what I'm getting is that it's going to happen at the end of this year or in
Good.
2027.
Yes.
And it's different for every different person, but for me, it's going to happen like the end of 2026. Um, and then um, I also get that um, they're already here. All the ETs are already here. It's just that we can't see them because of our fear. Once we drop our fear, then everything opens up in our vibration opens up and we can perceive what has always been here. So if people are thinking about spaceships in the skies or they're going to meet them, yeah, but they're already here. And it's just about people losing their fear and being open to the vibration that will make them more visible in the visual spectrum. Is that accurate to say?
Well, yes, they are already there, and there are several ETs walking amongst you in your city in which you live. There are others who are hybrids who are around as well, and they are testing the waters and seeing who's ready to make contact with them, seeing if people can recognize them as ET beings as well. So they're setting the stage for a gigantic event that could, you're very right that it could happen for many people who are on your timeline right now by the end of this calendar year, but certainly by next year you will see a mass event involving a large number of ships. In the meantime, yes, you can also rest assured that in higher dimensional planes, which do exist right on top of yours, there are ETs and they are watching you and they are studying you and they are curious about you, and you're never ever really alone. So people can tap in, whether they're tapping into physical beings or non physical beings at any time. Those who train themselves to do so can get very good at it, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, and we use the term, spaceships out there, but reality is, yes, there are spaceships out there, but they're actually in my living room. They're all around us, right? In different dimensions, they're all around us. Their consciousness all around us. So it just depends of us opening our frequency so that we can perceive them.
Yes.
Yeah, great. So at the very last session that we had, Daniel, or I think it was you, you guys told me that during open contact, I'm going to meet my gray hybrid kids. So that
Yes.
kind of intrigued me. So um, that's going to happen. I believe you guys said that's going to happen during open contact. Will I know that they are my gray hybrid kids
Yes.
when I meet them? Oh, okay. And then I assume they will know that I'm,
They do.
genetically sliced to them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Um, Now, what I also got was that because I talked to the Akashic Records, I got that while I will meet them, it's not within my Akashic Records that I have a soul plan to interact with them, to do something. It said that I do have free choice, and if I decide to um, have that perspective that matches that, then they can play a role in my life and I can play a role in their life. But there's no pre-sold contract, so to speak, for me to be bound to them, so to speak. It's still kind of a living, organic, flowing what if? I mean,
Yes,
potential.
yes. Yes, you have a much of a flexible blueprint from this point forward, a lot of free will to exercise as someone who is awake and who understands that you are there to serve and to face various challenges to grow. But absolutely, that's something that's not a have to or meant to or supposed to, but an option.
Yeah. I've also had thoughts of me communicating to them. And they're like fun thoughts of oh, taste this pizza that I'm eating. I mean, they're just fun thoughts. Um, was I in some level communicating with them?
Yes, you are telepathically linked, of course, to
Yeah.
them, and they are very telepathic. So,
Yeah.
absolutely, they're aware of you and they're aware of your thoughts about them.
Okay. Yeah. It was kind of fun thoughts, and like, hey, let's go split a pizza. Although I know they don't have taste buds, but it was a fun thing. So yeah. So I kind of got that. If I can, I just had thoughts of communicating with them. So um,
They do have taste buds.
they do. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because they're hybrid, they're fourth density, so they're
They're
in
not
that.
fourth density.
They're not.
They're no, they're in your density.
Oh, they are.
There are
Okay.
different hybrids out there. Some are fourth
Yeah.
density, but some are
Yeah.
very much third and are very appropriate to live on planet Earth with you because
Ah,
they've
that makes
never
a lot more
had a
sense.
planet of their own. So Bashar's race basically
Yeah.
went to a different dimension upon being born, and they could then live out tens of thousands of years and come back from
hmm
the future, so to speak, to
hmm
speak to you all and help you all as an advanced civilization.
Yeah. But I assume that because Burchard is 10,000 years, that the time that society has risen in density to the fourth.
They
But
have they are in fourth, moving
they
into
are
fifth.
fourth. Okay.
Yes,
But the hybrid kids are third density.
the ones you're going to have on Earth with you, yes, are third
Yeah.
density.
Okay. All right. Well, I can teach them about third density on Earth.
Yes, you can.
Okay. All right. That actually kind of sounds fun. It sounds like more fun than if
Yes,
they were fourth density, because now I feel like I have something to teach them. Okay.
yes.
Um, is there anything you guys want to tell to the general public about disclosure and open? I kind of know the scoop, but I'm going to make this into a videotape for people. So if there's anything you want to let the audience know, so to speak.
There's going to be a lot of disclosure happening by people who are not in the government, not in the military. Those are the people you're going to want to listen to. Because
Yeah.
anyone, as you know, who is in the government right now
Yeah.
cannot really operate with free will because of who is president.
And what I also get is that the disclosure plan for the government, that is kind of being hijacked by service to self beings who are going to use it in a
Yes,
way to make fear instead
of
of
course.
love. So
Of
you just
course.
understand that while it is coming from the government and it is echoes of truth, it's slated with the agenda of producing fear. So I actually wouldn't actually trust, I wouldn't take value
Absolutely.
the stuff that the government comes out, but the stuff that the people
Yes.
come out. Because I have films of ETs. I mean, shot with my eye camera, and people send it to me. So I actually have various footage of ET ships, but so yeah, I understand all that's unrolling into the people who are watching this that I'll post it to. Just sit back, have fun, and it's all for your growth and expansion. Nothing to fear.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, okay, so let's stay on the topic of Earth.
Yes.
So on the topic of Earth, is my understanding is, well, God, there's so much to cover, but I'm just going to go here. Earth has had five resets. This is actually the fifth reset. and the one that we're going to have the biggest harvest with. Souls making it from third density to fourth density. So it's the fifth reset. Prior to that, there was a fourth reset. The fourth reset, what I get was the Atlantean times. And then the third reset get was the Lemurian times before that, the Lemurian civilization.
Yes.
The second reset I got, ironically, is that it was the time of the dragons. It was time where the dragons kind of had high consciousness before they kind of dipped out of physicality on this earth. I understand there were dragons that were somewhat physical in the
Yes.
Lemurian time stuff, but I got during the second reset when they had their heyday, so to speak. Um,
Yes.
can you elaborate on that second reset? I mean, was that during the time of the dinosaurs too? Because dinosaurs kind of
Yes.
look like dragon, and then so dragons
Yes.
were just like a higher consciousness dinosaur, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
That completely makes sense now. So that's when they had their apex and they actually were a higher density than, and I got, and you can enlighten me or give me, I got that they actually ascended to a higher density
You're right.
and they transcend this realm. A couple of them
Yes.
stayed in the physical humans, and that's why there are sightings of dragons throughout the Lemurian time and the Atlantean time. But they had their big heyday and party and graduation during the second reset of Earth. Is
Yes.
that accurate?
Absolutely. That is accurate. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me then about the first reset? What I got about the first reset was it was a time when the land mass was kind of like all one, and it's not what we were thinking about. It was more like energetic beings. It was like forming beings like that. But can you give me some information on the first reset of Earth?
There was a time when ETs would come to Earth as a vacation planet, as a
I
place to
remember that.
go on vacation.
Yeah.
And so that was a time when anyone could come at any time. And what happened was certain ETs wanted Earth for themselves, wanted to make it theirs, and started a process of taking over Earth. And so the first reset really was the galactic federation, if you want to call it that, or
Mhm.
association of worlds, whatever you want to call it, all came together and said, this planet must be allowed to evolve with life forms on it in a Darwinian sense on its own. And so this was obviously a long time before the Anunnaki came. It was before the dinosaurs. So it was a very, very long time ago. And that first reset was, in a sense, a kind of intergalactic struggle to rid the planet of those ETs who wanted to take over, make it their own, and basically pillage the resources.
Perfect. I mean that's actually perfect that this brilliantly segue into my second topic, which is galactic. So with that, I'm going to say that Earth is a garden, and the ETs are the gardeners. Um,
Yes.
that what people have to understand is that various ET species and but not all because there are only a certain amount because there are a lot of ET species, but we just know of very few that participated in the Earth development. Um, and and they are responsible for life on Earth. I mean, Gaia is too, because everything is of Gaia.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she is a being, and we'll talk maybe at a later time about Gaia and the development of planets. But really, what humans need to understand is that Earth is a garden, and the ETs are the gardeners. And then there are certain ET species that play the major role, or more so than other ETs. And most ETs play no role, or they're observing. Um, so I hear that can we put a number on that? I mean, I hear that there's like 88 or something like that, or but I hear that there's like eight or nine main ones. And and then let's talk a little bit about the Anunnakis. So can you put a number on there? I know numbers are kind of fu a funky thing to say because it depends on what timeline you're talking about.
You're
But
talking about the gardeners now.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, 9 is an accurate number.
Okay, okay, that's kind of what I got. Okay, and I actually know what they are, so I'll name them some other time. But I know what they are because they are kind of like me. But okay, um, so what I got is in addition to those nine main ones, then something unusual happened in the Earth development of humanoids, and that is the Anunnakis came and did a they did more slicing than they should have, right? They over did things and they did things for service to self reasons, but and they made major modifications on the humanoids. So some good things like that's why we look like we do, but then they also kind of did things for service to self reasons that that made us kind of like the humans, the slaves for a while. But ultimately, everything's perfect, and ultimately, we love what they did to us, to humans, because it brings us to where we are now. It's part of
Yes.
our beautiful development, and in that content, everything is perfect and everything is value because it all brings us to here and now,
Yes.
which is perfect and valuable. That being said, I also hear that the Anunnakis, because of what they did to us, some of them actually bloom and develop in a beautiful way in that they were service to self and they did that genetic slicing to human for very selfish reasons. But in that process, they, for lack of a better term, grew a heart and they grew in beautiful ways of service to others that they wouldn't have if they did not genetically slice us. So, is that accurate? Particularly
Yes.
Inky and those Anunnakis that follow Inky, they kind of grew in a way that they grew their heart, so to speak. They grew to love
Yes.
us.
Yes, and they were seeking to save themselves because they had pretty much destroyed the atmosphere of their planet with pollution. And that's what they needed gold for. They weren't just getting gold for earrings and bracelets and
Yeah,
so on.
yeah, accurate. Um, have all the Anunnakis had that enlightenment of service to others, or some of them like
They've since evolved.
Enlil?
They're
They
not
all.
really in the same they're not really the same race that they were
Uh-huh.
back then. So that yes, they have evolved since then, but they're not you're not going to meet Anunnaki in your future.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, they're a higher density consciousness and okay. Um, but in the way that different ET species look out for us, uh, then are they also shepherding us or looking out for us? I mean, there are, we'll talk about various Palladians, Arcturians, stuff like that later on,
Yes.
who are sending us very supportive love energy. Are the Anunnakis sending us love and growth energy, or is it more of a still service to self energy? Or
No,
is it neutral?
they absolutely are
Yeah, that's what I
seeing
get.
you as their co-creations and therefore very interested in your journey and in helping through energetic deployments.
Yeah, that's kind of what I get too. Yeah. Early on when I learned about them, I actually had a little fear from them and in fear that, oh, they're service to self. But right now, I really get that they're of a loving vibe, more of a parental and caring vibe. So at least so I have love and appreciation for them.
Very good.
Yeah. Um, Here's an interesting thing. So, whenever I try to understand dates and times, sometimes I get conflictory information. And what I downloaded is that that's because everything is true, number one. But
Yes,
it depends on what timeline you're doing. And then even
exactly.
timelines get really wavy because higher dimensional beings can dip into timelines and change them so that it's all layered and timelines weave in and out. So even though you're going on this timeline, there's a timeline where someone went back into time before that timeline. So it can get very, very confusing. So that's kind of what my understanding about why it's very hard to pinpoint dates is that all dates are true and false. It depends on what kind of timeline you're tapping into, which changes all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay. Um, but I also get that with Gaia raising herself to a new density, one of the benefits of that is that she is stopping entities from coming into her and weaving different timelines. That's kind of one of her growth is that the way timelines were previously weaved into her existence are now being she's under more control of that. Is that kind of
Well, look at it
accurate?
this way. Look at it this way. There's an infinite number of
Yeah,
Gaias out there.
yeah,
So she doesn't really need to be concerned with
yeah.
a timeline since there are an infinite number of timelines, infinite number of Gaias on those timelines. But what you're sensing is that the version of Gaia that you are on right now, which then takes you into a space where you're not connecting to the Gaias that are on the so-called negative timelines
Yeah, yeah.
anymore because of the major difference in the polarized energies on those
Mhm.
timelines. It's very different from where you are.
Yeah,
So that's what you're really picking up on.
correct. And I don't want to digress, but this is kind of like tied into what we call like the two Earths, although I know there are an infinite amount of Earths, but it's tied
Yes,
into
it's
the
the splitting
polarity, the
of the
splitting.
timelines,
Yeah,
essentially. Yes, good,
yeah,
happy timelines versus not so good, not so
yeah.
happy timelines.
Yeah. And my message to myself and everyone else is just concentrate on your vibration and not anyone else's.
Right.
You don't need to save the world or pull your relatives into the happy timeline because that's if they are, it's on their life path. If they're not, it's on their life path. The only thing that we are responsible for is our internal vibration. And if we keep it high, I guarantee you will be on that happy earth. And then
Yes,
if
one
we
of them.
think, yeah, you're one of them, right? They're the infinite one,
And
but
there
you know
can
what
be
I'm
a
trying to
version of
describe.
every single family member of yours on every
Mhm.
single timeline. So you don't have to worry about any of one version of them getting it because some version of them is and their soul is getting to have that experience. Now, whether you get to experience the version of that relative of yours with you on the timeline you are on, or
Yeah,
whether they will continue to be a curmudgeon or
yeah,
continue to focus negatively on their life and their position in relationship to source, then all you can do is offer that person love and healing, compassion, and
mhm.
whatever forgiveness they need for the kinds of traumas that they've brought into your life, and continue to be of the high vibration that you are inviting them to it.
Yes. To realize that everything is working out for you and not to you. And also the way I
Yes.
also kind of look at it is give them respect. Wherever their soul has picked, wherever their life has picked, whether or not it's to live in poverty or richness, it's their business and it's their you respect them to live their destiny, so to speak, and just
Yes.
keep your own vibration high. So uh, yeah, I mean, what I'm getting is that the times ahead are actually fun and enjoyable. I mean, that's what I'm getting. I mean,
Yes.
and I do understand that family and friends of mine right now are having a hard time, but my message to them and everyone else is that it doesn't have to be. It's all based off of your vibration,
Yes,
and you
indeed.
can be having a great time right now because I kind of am. So, okay, so with that, let's leave Earth. Let's go to the galactic questions.
Yes.
Okay, um, so I recently, um, so people around me know me as the Galactic Ambassador, but it's kind of a misnomer because people think that I'm Galactic Ambassador because I am from galactic species and I've incarnated on Earth to be an ambassador on Earth. But while I am that, that's actually not why I got the title of Galactic Ambassador. The reason why I got the title of a Galactic Ambassador is that I represent many different galactic species to different galactic species and worlds. And I recall them. I actually kind of know, and when we talked about this, that I have basically, I'm a very, very old soul. You guys or Daniel confirmed that my soul vibration name is Layak, and it's a seven density signature, vibrational signature. Um,
Yes.
I got that. It was one of the first consciousness that stepped out into the universe 13.85 billion years ago at the creation of the universe. So it's
Yes.
very uh, old and it's been around. And I got that. And you guys have confirmed that I basically have incarnated on every single, virtually every single species, or even though they're infinite amount, but whatever I wanted to, I did. So, but there are clusters that I have incarnated on that I carry a stronger vibration of. Um,
Yes.
so what I get is that there are four primary ones, and I like to talk about them. So the first one I got was Lyrian Elder. So this is the vibration of the Lyrian species, but before the Lyrian War. So I actually have this vibration. And the Lyrians, as many people or people may don't know, is they were the progenitors of the humanoids, right? Um,
Yes.
and they sprouted out to a lot of different other galactic species. So one of my um, clusters of incarnation was Lyrian Elder. So that was of a vibration before the war that tore them apart.
Correct.
Um, and that's actually one of my gifts of my incarnation is that I can spread that vibration to different galactic species
Yes.
and help. Do you guys want to say anything about that?
Well, absolutely. It's about who you are right now, of course, as well. Your oversoul has so many different incarnations that you couldn't even really put a number on the number of simultaneous incarnations that are happening within your oversoul right now. And you're cross connecting to the ones that are relevant to this incarnation. This incarnation is one where you had decided to have a vehicle that would have a lot of extraterrestrial DNA in it, and you would also awaken and be on a timeline of first contact where you would then be able to act as a first contact specialist for humanity because you're helping humanity make first contact with ETs, both with the level of consciousness that you're holding, the knowledge that you're sharing, but also with the fearlessness with which you will be able to meet the ET beings who will be showing up and who will be looking for willing participants in making contact with them.
Excellent. Yeah, I got that. Um, and,
Yes.
and yeah, there is the element of Lyrian pre-war, so that is an element of togetherness that
Yes.
that other Lyrians don't have because they have that fractalized that's caused by all the galactic wars. But I have the vibration of before that, so it's more of that togetherness energy. Just so that's
Yes.
what I get. Okay.
And that's what you would cross connect to from this lifetime where that is your agenda.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. It completely makes sense. And then the other main lineage I got was Arcturian High Council. And what I got from there is that that's actually where a lot of Akashic information comes from, or for me to organize that. Um, And I know about there's lots written about Arcturians, and I know all about Arcturians, and my two main spiritual guides in this incarnation from birth are Arcturians, and I submit to it, so I know. But can you say something about Arcturians for me and for the general public?
What people need to know about Arcturians is that at this point in the timeline that you're on right now, most Arcturians are coming to you from non physical dimensions. So
Yeah.
you don't have to think about making contact with physicalized Arcturians because you're going to make much more contact with the non physical collectives, councils, and so on that are coming from that particular star system to be of service to humankind. But the beings that you're going to make more physical contact with will be Pleiadians, Syrians, Lyrans, and Orions eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Along with like Isanis, right? The Bouchard groups
The
and the
hybrids,
Greys.
yes.
Yeah, the hybrids. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. 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 So let me ask you, like two of my Arcturian guys, Nuana Arc and um, Sunuma, uh, they're Arcturians. Are they on the Arcturian Council as Daniel knows it, or are they different vibrations? I mean, because I guess everything is like different pockets of vibration. Are they known in the council that Daniel channels when he channels the Arcturians?
No, that council is comprised of completely non physical consciousness where no one would single themselves out and say, I'm a singular being
Okay.
operating as a singular being with a name.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Great. Um, The third cluster of incarnations that I got was Nomo, which is a Syrian branch, and the water branch of it. And what I got is that they are threshold beings, and I can inhabit the two seemingly contradictory polarity states at once. And that it's a threshold of being able to hold different dimensions at one time, because I'm also a bridger of consciousness. But
Yes.
that sounds like that's tied to that lineage. So can you speak about it? It's Syrian, Nomo, water-based, and I want to say this. It allows me to be the smartest person and the stupidest person at the same time. It allows me to be the most powerful person and the weakest person at the same. I can be two things at once without the contradictory. I can just be at that threshold of absorbing what seems polarity, but it's not. There's just two states and that. Can you comment on that?
Yes, indeed. Of course, there are many peaceful and harmonious ways to explore polarity and to explore that kind of dichotomy that you're talking about, where it seems like a paradox. It seems like it's incompatible energies, but they are meant to be blended together, as in the yin yang symbol. And the Syrians are all about making those types of experiences possible for consciousness and for life, for sentient life to be able to hold seemingly contradictory energies simultaneously. And so, yes, you're absolutely correct about all of that.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is part of that question, but I get that there's the water-based consciousness from Syria,
Yes,
and I want to talk
you're right.
about water consciousness because people on Earth don't really understand that water is the best conduit of information, that water is alive, water is consciousness in itself, um, and water has a very special role in this universe. I mean, because it's one of the five elemental creations of the universe, right? There's fire, water, air, ether, mineral, or earth. But, so water. Can you speak about water consciousness and how we can use it in the practice? Because that's what happens when we speak to our food, right, or speak to water, we bless it because water is conscious. It can actually cellular regenerate our body. We can talk to the water cells in our body, and every cell. I mean, that's why I can cellular regenerate so easily. Is that that's the aspect of water I'm connecting to, among other things. But that helps for cellular regeneration.
Yes, of course, yes, it is a powerful form of consciousness within the universe that you all dwell in physical form, and of course, in non physical, everything is more fluid. So you have that expression, things being more fluid, things being in the flow. It shows you that water is there to symbolize that for you, as well as being a kind of womb and something that you can replenish yourself with, replenishing your hydration with something to give more possibility for energy then to not only dwell within that form but also to be channeled through a being such as Daniel here is doing.
Mhm.
So it's a necessary component of life on a planet. You can't have life on a planet without water. It is a fluid type of consciousness that allows for flexibility, that allows things to be held within it and to be not judged. In other words, water flowing in a river, in a stream, going past a rock is not judging the rock for being in the way, it's just going around the rock and helping to also smooth the rock over. So there's a lot of different ways in which that which is water is symbolic for consciousness and energy in higher dimensional planes, where all these types of ideas that you utilize water for are very necessary to go into higher frequency states. You're right, it's very good conductor as well of electricity and therefore of energy.
Yeah, and information, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't know if this is digression, but I want to bring up Orion Wars, because I get something about Orion Wars and water, Mintaka. Um, so did the Orions have a war with the Syrians? And was that
The
water in
Ryans
there?
went to war with everyone.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay,
So,
okay.
yes, absolutely. It is true that the Orions understood quite a bit as well. Just like in the Star Wars movies, the beings on the dark side of the Force understand the Force and know how to use the Force even for their dark agendas. And so did the Orion beings, because the Star Wars movies represent what the Orion Empire was trying to do and utilize their knowledge, their very
Yeah.
deep wisdom of metaphysics to take themselves to higher levels of consciousness where they could continue to do more and more taking over of planets and systems and thinking that they were doing what was right for everyone, but also knowing in the backs of their minds that they were just doing it because they were feeling rather powerless without all of that externalized power.
Yeah, and my understanding is that there really is no good or evil. That there really is the universe is divided into service to self and service to others. And the Orions basically had a service to self philosophy, and other Larians they have a service to others. Again, there's no judgment. There's no good or bad. It's just a different philosophy. Um, and I get that from Ra, the Venus consciousness, sixth density consciousness that came to Earth. But they explain it that way. And is that a good way for humans to look at things, to understand it?
It's good for people not to go into judgment. So anytime a person does try to sort things out and sift things into two categories of good and evil, there is a natural segmenting off inside the person when they're doing that, because they're basically saying that aspects of themselves are evil, aspects that they often feel out of control with. And so to point a finger at someone else and say, you're the evil one, you're the evildoer, is like denying an aspect of themselves, demonizing part of themselves that is very much there. And that's why it really doesn't serve anyone to do that. And yes, see everyone as being the yin yang symbol, having both the light and the dark within them, and being able to make whatever choice they make in the moment. And no choice has to invalidate any other choice. Choices don't have to be consistent, they don't have to follow a logical pattern, but every person will use, and every entity in whatever form they're in will use their free will to say, I'm either moving towards the light or moving towards the dark. And at a certain point, beings just only want to move towards the light. And it's not because they're fearing judgment, it's not because they are looking at possible negative consequences. It's just what feels right to them.
Mhm, mhm. Um, and I'm not saying this to give anyone who's watching this any fear. The Ryan did have wars with all many different galactic species. Are they still a serves to self galactic species?
No, that was a
Do,
very long time ago. So, no,
okay,
they are not.
okay. Although that's comforting to know.
And we know it says that in the raw material, but that was a long time ago that those books were channeled.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Even though it was really just like in the 80s, but then
It's
the
a
80s
long
is a
time
different
ago.
time
Yes, it's a
ago.
long,
So yeah,
especially when you consider that time works differently in different
differently in other
dimensions.
dimensions. And yeah.
Yes.
So like, oh, well, good. Anything that's comforting to the Earthlings is good. Because I already know
Yes.
it's all going to work out and we can have a lot of fun doing it. So that's my sincere knowledge and belief. So um, the fourth major galactic species that I get from my incarnation is a weird one. It's one that humans haven't discovered yet. It's one where there is no name for it, and I've had this verified by three different other channelers, but basically it's described as a column of light, and um, and it's vibration and it's all colors and no colors, and it's just a being, a galactic species that there is no name for it. You can only describe it in human sense, like a column of light that's vastness is such that every heartbeat, every beat echoes throughout eternity. It's. Do you guys pick up on any of that? Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes, we do. And we also want to say that, of course, there are far, far, far more species and civilizations that you don't have names for at this point than the
Yeah,
ones that you
correct.
do.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is one of them that just popped up to my consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a cool one, but I have no Earth reference to it, but got
Well,
it.
they don't have a name for themselves either, so
Yeah, because they don't have vocal cords or anything like that, right? So
they
they're
don't have a need
yeah,
for names,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I get that too. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Um, great. Okay. Um, see, is there any other galactic questions? Uh, well, yeah, so the big picture is that even the galactic species that did not do gardening on Earth, they're looking at Earth, right? Because Earth is this grand experiment. It's this beautiful thing that happened and then is happening. So they're all kind of watching us
Yes.
and and anticipating not only a big harvest of souls into a higher density, but it's a great experiment of separation of seeing when the soul incarnates onto earth and having this total amnesia and this total polarity, and yet can it come together and rise into a higher density. So I get that all the galactic species are kind of like watching us and say, "Oh,
Indeed.
look at those earthlings! Yay!" Very,
Yes.
yeah. It's
Very
this
curious to
big
see how
exciting
you're
thing.
going to resolve those very polarized energies that you have on your planet
Yeah,
and work with the diversity that you have and see all of that as coming together as one
yeah.
harmonious whole. They want to see how you're going to accomplish it because it is a grand experiment. And you're right, beings from all across the universe are very interested in what's going on there on planet Earth because it's so unique.
So maybe you guys can answer this question, but it's kind of a trick question. But a lot of those beings are beings that where there is no time and space. So don't they know it already happened, or
They
are they?
know it's happening. They
Yeah.
know that there are timelines where it doesn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But to experience it in real time, it's like watching a movie. You could say the same thing. Well, I know the movie's already finished, so
Yeah.
why should
Yeah.
I watch it? Well, you want to see how it plays out. You want to see how the characters get to where they're going.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point because I was telling people that the movie's already done, and I know at least my timeline that I'm going to share is that we have all ascended and Earth has a happy
Yay!
place. But yeah. So from my perspective, it's a done deal, and we're just watching the movie and watching how it ends. But it's already done. The movie's already done. But yeah, so I think we're saying the same thing there.
You are. Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah, yeah. Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's now dip into a subject that most humans don't talk about, and I want to explore as much as the human mind can comprehend, and that is primordial energy, consciousness developed before planets and galaxies are. Kind of like the really, really big picture in some ways, the original picture. Um, so I get that everything's vibration, right? Everything's just vibration that then does different frequency, and then later on, at a very end stage, develops into matter. So everything is frequency and vibration, and I get thrown in there primordial dragon energy. And I know that dragon is probably just symbolizing to help me understand that vibration of is there something I get for primordial dragon energy of the universe, developing the universe. Um, can you help me understand that? I mean, and how does like the angelic energy factor into that or the galactic energy? I mean, because I know we're playing around with something we're talking about time, and I know there is no time, so that's why everything gets jumbled up. But describe it to me as if we do have time to help me understand primordial harmonic sound weaving energy that consciousness initially develops in and helps develop universe, planets, and all matters that come galactic species later on that come into existence.
You've described it very well. That is how it works, how it happens, and the dragon energy and dragon entities are there to assist in the moving between dimensions to create a physical, non physical type of consciousness connection that's necessary for beings to have a linear space time reality that you would call the real world or the physical world.
So I kind of feel a connection to dragon, and I'm not sure if it's my lineage or I kind of get it as called part of my galactic lineage or original vibration lineage. But just like every soul incarnates into different galactic species and then humans, so I assume the same thing is about dragons, right? So dragons also incarnate on different planets and different dimensions and different densities, and then on Earth, and then
Yes.
you're right. I mean, just like us
That
humans are
consciousness,
one
yes.
form, yeah, it's just a different
Yes.
form of consciousness that blooms and sprouts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um, so there are some of us on Earth who are incarnated as humans would it be fair that in other incarnations they incarnated as dragons?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I got. And then not only that they incarnated as dragons, they incarnated as dragons on other planets.
indeed.
Yeah, in other dimensions and stuff like that. Yeah, so we're all
It
basically
is.
a whole bunch of different experiences that we can't imagine because us humans, we only think, oh, we're human and that's it. When really we are all things and nothing, and we're all a big mixing pot of experience and expansion.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I mean, so is that kind of a key lesson for humans to learn? I mean, because once you understand that the ultimate goal is to eliminate separation, to understand we're all one. And we're all
Yes,
one from different planets, from different species, from different beings,
yes,
even the service to self beings and the service to others, they're all one too, right? So
exactly.
everything is one. So the more that we can eliminate separation, the more we are to the original consciousness of love light.
Yes, everyone's just playing a role, playing whatever role it is that is necessary for them to play, for this particular symphony to play the one note that it's meant to play together. And so to harmonize is to simply embrace yourself as you are. Now, that doesn't mean that people won't change, people won't grow and evolve. That's absolutely what happens. And it happens through embracing the self as you are, embracing everyone else as they are, saying, yes, it's all right that there are people playing in the dark right now. I can accept them. I can accept myself, even though I know I'm from the light, but I haven't done everything that I really want to do. I haven't been able to accomplish all the things I want to do. I haven't been able to help as many people as I want to help. I haven't been able to access as many of my spiritual gifts as I want to access. So even though all of those things are true, you can still embrace yourself as you are. Embrace the people who have yet to wake up as well. Embrace the people who are still just trying to fill their pockets with as much gold as they possibly can because they feel so empty inside and are willing to do things to other people and step over other people to get to that next piece of gold. It's just a part of their journey to go through that type of experience, and they'll get to the place where they have their transformation. It may not happen in this lifetime, and that's all right as well, because you're all eternal beings, we're all eternal beings. We have all the time in the world to get these things right.
Yeah. I mean, you described that perfectly for humans, and I want to say that. So, didn't the Ryans know this when they were warring with different planets and species? Because you think that they had the technology to blow up planets and stuff like that, they would have the understanding of knowing what you just said, that we're all one. But I guess they were just doing their path of their what they needed to do, and all's perfect. So the war was perfect, everything was perfect. It had to be that way. So no judgment toward them.
Yes, you can know that theoretically and still think that you're better than everyone else and that you deserve to be in power.
Yeah.
And anyone that's fighting you is fighting what's best for everyone because it's best for everyone for you to be in power, simply like the concept of the divine right of kings, royal bloodlines, those sorts of things that you have on earth, where people say, no, it is me who's supposed to be on that throne. And because I have this special blood within me, we're going to go to war with all these other people so that I can take my rightful place and guide this kingdom into a new era of peace and prosperity.
Yeah, yeah, good point. I mean, so and then that's why people follow the king and they kill in the name of yeah. We're doing the same thing on Earth, but I get your
Yes,
point. Yeah, yeah, and we're growing out of it, thank God. But yeah, so I get
yes.
that. And right now there is a galactic species called the Draconians that have are very service to self, and they're trying to infiltrate the Earth and make it a service to self world. So do we just shoot them love and understanding and just
Yes.
not get tangled with that? I mean, because
Well, it's too late for
part,
any. It's too late anyway. No one can accomplish those types of goals. Anyone who has that type of goal, who thinks they can still accomplish that type of goal, is delusional.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got they really kind of lost their their standing. I get right now that they're throwing the kitchen sink at us right now because they want
Yes,
to maintain control, but it's a done deal. We already won, right? I mean, at least on
indeed.
my timeline, I already see that it's played out already. But
Yes,
yeah, yeah. So just shoot them love and understanding and let them do their mess, and they will have their karma and their path to unfold.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. For us, just keep our vibration high and be happy, and that's what makes our timeline secure. Um,
Indeed, indeed.
yeah,
You stay
yeah.
on the timeline you want to be on, and you let everyone else play on whatever timeline they want to be on, but you don't have to worry about them coming onto your timeline because they simply don't match. And that's simply physics.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, beautiful. Got that. It's clear. I'm gonna go back to primordial energy and the development of universe and planets. So
Yes.
within there, I'm gonna go into actually Gaia's development. So this is what I get. Well, number one, I get there are different universes around that our particular universe is a 12th dimensional universe. Although
Yes.
I have heard that yeah, you can call it 13 if you consider source. That's all one. But
Yes.
let's I'm going to just call it like a 12 dimensional universe with a bubble wrap around it, right? There are other universes around and surrounding it, but within our universe, 12th dimensional, and it was created with special laws for exploration that is unique to this universe. Now,
Yes.
within there are developments of planets, galaxies, and da 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 da. But I want to zoom into Gaia. Gaia is a special planet. And what I got about Gaia is that Gaia is a unique experiment in herself, in that she is a planet that agreed to shift down in densities so that it could be observed and then be connected to her inhabitants, which are the earthlings and all the animals, and then and for various reasons, the Earthlings pulled her down even to lower density. So I kind of got like she was a fourth density being, and then she got dragged down because the humans were of a lower vibration during the Dark Ages, and they dragged her down because they're all anchored to her, and she is us and we are her, and she had a very trying time when she got dragged down in density, but it was part of her agreement to be a planet that lowers in density in order to raise in density, and that she has accomplished that. So even though I heard that she was once fourth density that got lowered into third density, maybe even yeah, very low third density because the humans during the dark ages were so low that they dragged her down, but she now has freed herself and she's lifted and she's extended. I get into the fifth density now. And
Well,
that's actually,
remember, before we let you just continue on with
yeah.
this theory,
Okay.
remember, infinite number of Earths, all
Okay.
densities, all dimensions. Therefore, you can see her, and it's a consciousness that's choosing to express as a planet. And
Yeah.
all the, just like there's a million, a gazillion different yous out there
Uh-huh.
on different parallel Earths, so are there a million gazillion different playgrounds to play on. And that's true when humanity explores something like the Dark Ages or the Renaissance period or any, there's always going to be an Earth to play on. It's not that Earth, there's one Earth that has to move up and down these different densities. They all exist on the different densities. You're moving through them, you're experiencing them as the experiencer of the physical reality, of which there are an infinite number of types.
Excellent point. So yeah, because everything exists all at once. So her in the
Yes.
lower density
So
is
what you're
existing while
talking
she's
about is a human experience of something,
yeah.
but not the way it actually happens. Because, of course, there are still many scientists who will believe that there's still just one Earth, the same Earth that's always been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But let's see how to phrase this. I get that she she's in a good spot. I mean,
Yes.
I understand
You're in a
that.
good spot, experiencing a good version of her, but don't
Okay,
worry about her because there's not just one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, the same philosophy is don't worry about anything outside yourself, right? Because you don't think you can control is your vibration. The minute you start
Yes.
worrying about the other person or judging them or judging Gaia or anything that's outside of you,
Yes.
then you digress from the true issue,
You
which is
lower your
always
vibration
vibration.
to
Yeah,
that same level, yes.
yeah.
Because you
And
think you need to defeat it somehow.
correct, correct, correct. And where a lot of Earthlings go wrong is that for very loving reasons, they want to protect, stop the war, stop hunger, stop something that's outside of themselves, when really everything is inside of you, and everything that you can benefit and control is inside of you, and that's
This is
where,
true.
yeah,
And at the same time, as an expression of the light and the love that you are, if there's something you can do to help, then doing it is in a way affirming who and what you really are and saying, well, I can see right here, there's more food here than there are people, and there's people over
yeah,
there with less food. Let's just move the food over there. It makes the most sense. It gives me something to do.
correct. And it helps you understand we're all one, right?
Yes,
Um,
because that's an action that solidifies that knowing into someone's consciousness. Because someone who knows that would do that. Someone who doesn't know that might think, well, you never know, we might run out, we might need more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it completely makes sense. Okay, well, those are my questions that popped in. Do you guys have any closing remarks? I love this, and I just have complete gratitude and appreciation for you guys.
Well, the same is coming from us to you. We certainly enjoyed the conversation. We know that you're on the right track. We can feel your vibration, can feel the way your vibration is headed, and we know that you're expanding out in all directions as well, having more and more wonderful experiences to look forward to by virtue of what you're putting out right now energetically. So just keep it up. Just keep your head and your heart in the right place and know that everything else will be worked out for you to have the same kind of beautiful, dreamlike, illusory experience of this physical reality that you call your home for now.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, we are the creators, and we love you very much.
The center is called your primary object of meditation. And the petals are all the thoughts that keep coming out from that center. In this case, our primary object of meditation is our breath. We will focus on our breath going in and our breath coming out. You can do
Here he is. As bright as those lights.